Trish Stratus, more like Hulk Hogan, am I right? Because with that thing forming on her forehead after Becky Lynch sconed her forehead off the wall of that steel cage, it's clear for all to see that Trish Stratus has been working herself up into a shoot, brother. I just hope she's not a racist there, father. Trish Stratus, more like what the Miz actually thinks he has inside of those tighty whities of his, am I right? Because the sheer size of the bollocks it takes to do something like that is bigger than any set of bollocks we've ever seen bred in captivity. Even bigger than Randy Marsh's meaty clackers. Marsh, no, nahui. Now what I just said there was you had one job, but it was in reverse, therefore meaning I did my one job wrong, which is just like that lass there who blew her big chance while front and centre of the camera. And speaking of one job, you have one job to do today, that is to like the video, leave a comment and share the video just like Big Daddy Dudley would share his seed all over the world back in the 70s. And if you don't, quite frankly, I'll get Attitude Era man Pete Gas to fart on you. Gas by name, gas by nature. He bloody stinks. Now the Miz saying he doesn't expect to see John Cena pandering to an audience is like saying, hey CM Punk, I don't expect you to get involved in some backstage bollocks that overshadows anything good that AEW actually achieve. And I tell you what, dear viewer, I was on Tony Khan's side last night until I read the fact that he thought his life was in danger. The tiny, precious, little, silly knob. But back to the matter at hand. Know who you're talking about, Miz. John Cena might as well cover himself in fur and give himself two black eyes. He's done that much pandering over the past 20 years. That sign there is the single most controversial thing to happen in the world of professional wrestling this very weekend. I was sitting there thinking Green Shirt Man was all kinds of Doctor of Thugonomics. Untouchable. But I might have been mistaken. And when I saw that sign there last night, dear viewer, I was just thinking to myself, surely that's just a reference I'm not understanding. A reference that's flying over my head like I'm sitting next to Matthew on an episode of the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. But no, I made that picture there and I just thought to myself, wow, all of life makes complete sense now. Kevin Owens is indeed the second coming of the African dream. When you say it out loud, it sounds nonsense. It sounds nonsense. I can talk England. On one hand, we're in Pittsburgh. We're bleeding. Let's dress like those badass gnarly hockey players and beat 7 shades of SH1T out of our opponents. But on the other hand, it's the Goons. And we're bollocks deep in 1996 WWF Crapalicious. And there we have Kevin Owens. Me arse feels like it's been penetrated by the Eiffel Tower. Doing a massive swanton bomb off a thingy through a table through Dominic Mysterious and onto the arena floor. Look at where those buns landed, man. They be squashed. And then we get to that pop-up thingy by Kevin Soros to JD McDonough. Less like JD McDonough, by the way, and more like JD McDonough. No, me back is broken much more than my reputation. Please don't Google me. To put it bluntly, the announce table didn't break and it looked like it really hurt. Now this is a sentence I did not think I'd say today when I got out of bed, so just sit yourselves down and prepare yourself for something shocking. Rhea Ripley spearing Kevin Owens through the barricade in that Payback arena last night caused Michael Cole to shag his desk. Now then, if you don't want to see Michael Cole shagging his desk, look away from this video for the next 11 seconds. Who would Adam and Eve and everybody, the two men who made that match last night a street fight, saw their plan backfire? Because you see, those two men, there's two of them, and they made it a street fight against a faction that has 4 or maybe even 5 people. Well, 4 and a small person with a Funko Pop's head. It's often said there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, what the hell were you smoking in the build-up to Payback last night? Those titles you lost, while it might just be a WTF moment, you bloody deserve it, you pair of whoppers. Free agent Jey Uso is Monday Night Raw. One of the men who made Cody Rhodes' life a living American nightmare for so long has been brought to Monday Night Raw by Cody Rhodes. And I know that Jey Uso has given it to Roman several times since that chicken assault on the grandest stage of them all, pointed the sign a fair few months ago. But still, if someone did that to me and pissed in my face on my biggest happiest night of my entire career, I would pretend they were dead, and while doing so, make every single day of their existence on this horrible mere mortal plane that we call planet Earth an absolute misery. But I guess that's why I'm stood here, doing this bollocks, and Cody Rhodes and his lovely wholesome moral code is the hero of America. Mago, 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 mago. And we've got to make a massive WTF moment for Maggle Cole referencing the ninth wonder of the world, China, while speaking about Rhea Ripley's gear for that match last night. But what about Triple H's daughters Googling China's name and the things they might just happen to see, Michael Cole? And all of the other bollocks reasons the company have come up with over the last however many years, just so they don't have to give the ninth wonder of the world the flower she deserves. But Michael Cole said her name on air now, which means you need to grab two of each computer and head for the bastard border. The end is nigh, the end is nigh, time to run away, the end is nigh, nigh. For the first time in so many years, I'm wishing I couldn't see him, but I can see him. I can even see him when my eyes are closed. He looks like a diddler and not in the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast sense of the word, and that is a terrible look. And on top of that, what in the name of Tom Phillips has happened to John Cena's height? He's interviewing some wrestlers and purposely making his height look smaller so the wrestlers next to him look taller. Let's roll things back to 2017 right here on WTF Moments by blowing that whistle and once again calling for a John Spiracy. Just in case you don't know what that was because you're new to the channel, Tom Phillips used to work for the World Wrestling Federation. He would stand like this to make himself look really small. So that used to be called a Tom Spiracy because Tom rhymes with John. That's where we find ourselves today. The storyline: Seth Rollins has a bad back. The match: Nakamura doesn't really attack the bad back of Seth Rollins, which Nakamura knew about because that's what this entire thing's been about. And on top of that, Seth Rollins does many moves which already takes his bad back and probably, definitely makes his bad back all the more injured. And I know we had Corey Graves on commentary saying, oh, Seth Rollins can live with his injuries, it's not too bad, but it's always there, and that's fine. But when we've had this story laid on so thick, at least have the match fit that narrative. It felt like the match completely forgot everything we've seen over the past 2 weeks on television. Such a long build for Nakamura. The wonderful big intro to his entrance, Keiji Muto of all people sat in the front row. Surely they're not going to drag Keiji Muto to a B show like Payback for nothing. Surely it's got to be Shinsuke Nakamura's night. He's going to finally capture the big one in the WWE. No. Psych! Ah! Ross, you massive gullible pig! Ah. Oh, Paul, you ignorant slut! So that was it for all the WTF moments, I think, I hope and I pray, from Payback 2023. I've been Ross Tweddell from Cultaholic Wrestling, an event that was quite underwhelming in the build that surely, in everyone's opinion, I hope so anyway, if we all thought the same, wouldn't life be harmonious and also very boring? But I think I'm safe in saying, on behalf of everybody, it over-delivered. Come back tomorrow for some all-out WTF moments, and when you do, I'll see you there because I'll be here presenting them.